Good morning, middle school students. I'm Mr. Homan, your principal. I'm excited to have you here today for your first official day on campus. I am the new principal. I started in July. I have a background teaching high school and teaching some middle school, and I've been an administrator in high school for most of my career. This is our assistant principal, Bridget Jones.
Hi, I'm Bridget Jones. I'm so excited to work with middle school students. I come from 26 years of working in middle school, and I really want to make your day here one of your best days so far. So I'm sorry I can't be on campus today, but your team knows what they're going to be doing with you today, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more.
Great. So what we're going to do first is we're going to review the Otter grid. It's the Otter way of doing things that we do here at JVA. So let me share that with you. So if you look at the Otter grid, this is new for this year. So some changes are in place that your teachers will review with you, and we'll do some of that now. If you look at our on-campus days, the right-hand column, be prepared for class, take notes. This is part of organization, the O in Otter. Take notes, know your schedule, know your rotations. If you don't know, ask. But being organized is really important. First T is for teamwork. Working together to share ideas. Help your classmates stay on task. We're on campus together. We're not used to being together on campus. We only come one day a week. And this is your first day, so understand there's lots of socializing, getting to know people. We want you to do that, but there's an appropriate time. Working together, helping people stay on task, and working with your teacher is really important. We're here to learn, not just socialize when we're here on Wednesdays. Second T is trustworthiness. And that's, of course, following our Jeffco Code of Conduct that applies to all Jeffco students. Be a friend and be kind. That's really important. That's one of the best rules in life, is to be kind to each other. And then set positive examples for each other, especially those of you who are returning students and you're used to our program and you've been being here. You can really help the new students really understand how it works when they're on campus, because again, it's a new experience for most of those students. The next letter is E, engagement. We talk about staying on task during class. That's really important. Just like if you were at a traditional brick and mortar school, your teacher would be asking you to stay on task, just like I did as a teacher for 13 years, keeping students on task when you're here and learning. Making good choices about your behavior, being in control, thinking through your decisions, making good decisions. Participating in field trips and events, that's part of our engagement in our school. When you're at a blended/online school, sometimes engagement can be tricky, feeling connected to our school. So we really want you to make sure you participate when you have the opportunity to do so. And being present. Present's not just sitting in your seat. That's not what being present means. People who know more about mindfulness or being present means you're in the moment. When you're in class, you're actually participating. You're paying attention to what's happening. That's being present. Present is also physical, being in the room, obviously, but that's not what we're talking about here on the Otter grid. We're talking about being part of what we're doing in class, part of the learning that's happening. And then, of course, the R for responsibility. We have responsibility to pick up after yourself in the classroom, the cafeteria. We don't have a cafeteria. It still says that on there because we were still transitioning with the cafeteria of Glen Heights. We're not using that anymore, but our spaces here in the temps need to be cleaned up, picked up. We need to take care of our space, just like you would at any other school. This is our school. We take care of it, all of us, adults and students. Being on time is really important. There may not be bells ringing like your other school, but it's the same concept. We start at 9, you need to be here on time or a little bit early and get ready to start learning for the day. Take charge of your learning. To me, that means that you ask questions, you engage with your teacher, you ask for help, you look for answers to your problems, or find the person who can help you find the answer to your problem. That's taking charge of your learning. If you just sit and expect someone to come help you, it's going to be a much harder process for you. If you take the initiative to step up and ask for help or engage in the content, even if it's really difficult, that's really an important step for you. You'll go and be very successful if you do that. And of course, the last part of responsibility is coming to campus for required testing. The first thing on the list for you is your MAP testing. All Jeffco students in middle school take MAP tests. You've taken that in the past if you've been in Jeffco. It's a test that assesses your abilities in reading and mathematics. And it's a really cool test. It's adaptable so that it gets harder if you get the questions right, and it gets a little bit easier if you miss a couple. So it tries to find your level by adapting to your ability. It's a really important test that our teachers, your teachers right there with you now, use to help you be successful. So that's why you have to come to campus. Unfortunately, you can't take that test at home. You have to be here with us when we do that. We'll have a schedule for that. We want you to take that test seriously because that data is used. It happens 3 times during the year. And then, of course, you have your spring state testing, just like all students in Colorado take. We're no different than any other school. So that information is coming much later, of course. Now, when you're online, this is a little different, but when you're online at home, of course, you have your own schedule. We ask you to be consistent with your schedule, whatever that schedule is. I'm back up to the O in organization now for online. Keeping a calendar for your due dates. Really using a planner, even like a handwritten planner you buy like at Staples, and keep track of your assignments and things you have to do, things that are coming up. That's a really good tool. Even in online school, writing things down is really important. Under teamwork for being online is very similar, but now you're asking your teacher for help because other students aren't around you at that time. So speaking up, texting, messaging your teacher, asking for help when you get stuck, not just giving up and saying, well, I'll do it on Wednesday when I see my teacher. No, if it's Monday and you're stuck, contact your teacher on Monday and ask for help. Don't wait till you see them on Wednesday because then nothing is getting done on Monday or Tuesday. And our teachers are here to help you. So you need to reach out and that's a team of us. The teachers and you are a team. Also responding to their messages. If they ask you for something, be sure you respond. Being sure you also read the things you ought to know every week. Came out Monday. Yesterday was the next one, the second one in our issues. Be sure you read the things you ought to know. Under trustworthiness, again, is knowing the code of conduct. Even though you're at home, there are online behaviors that we expect from you. Appropriate language, appropriate conversations when you have discussions online with other students or your teacher. If you're on a webcam, it's what's your appropriate dress. Obviously, if you're not on a webcam and you're in your PJs in the morning, that's your choice. But if you're going to be on camera, we would expect you to be dressed appropriately for school. Engagement is reading the updates in your classes. When you log into your classes, by now most of you know that it goes to the updates first. That's what you want to look at and make sure you know what your teacher expects from you. Use the materials in the class to understand the content, to prepare for tests and quizzes. Just like a regular brick and mortar school, you need to study and prepare for tests and quizzes. The temptation sometimes is just to click through and then take the quiz. That's not real learning. We want you to have real learning. So you need to actually do the assignments and study and prepare. And then, of course, logging in every day for attendance online, which all of you probably are aware of already, but that's an important part of our attendance, for your attendance and for our attendance for the state. Lastly, responsibility, again, online, is checking and responding to messages every day. Make sure you check email. If you don't like email, you still have to check it at least a couple times a day to see if anyone's reached out to you with a question. You need to be answering them if they do. Know where to find your resources in Schoology. If you don't know, ask your teacher, ask a classmate, send that message to your teacher when you're online. Say, hey, I can't find whatever I'm looking for. Can you help me find it? It will help you. Own your actions. If you make a mistake, if you do something the wrong way, own it. Just accept it and learn from it. That's the key. We all make mistakes. We all struggle with things in our lives and in school. It's how you respond to that that matters. And I know they're going to be talking to you about growth mindset here in a little while. So that's a big part of that, is always growing and always learning. But that starts with owning your actions and admitting that you made a mistake. That's all right. Follow through on your work completion and turn things in on time. I can't stress that enough. Stay up with the pacing in your classes. Falling behind gets really frustrating, and it's really hard to catch back up, and you add more pressure to yourself that you don't need. We've paced the class. Your teachers have paced the class appropriately for you so that it's a reasonable amount of work every day. That pacing gets off track when you fall behind. Now you have to do older work and the current work at the same time. Now you've caused a lot more pressure for yourself. So turning your work in on time. That's a quick rundown of our Otter grid and the Otter way that we do things in our entire school, not just middle school. All of our students follow these rules. So it's really important. If you have clarifying questions about anything on that grid, feel free to ask your teacher. You can stop by and ask me. You can ask Ms. Jones if you have questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Homan.
Sure.
That was a great coverage. I get to have the fun part of this, that letting you know if you do follow the Otter grid, we have Otter Dollars, purple dollars with an otter on them. And you can receive these for campus behavior as well as online behavior. Let's say you're a real effective communicator with your teacher and saying, I don't understand this. And rather than giving up, you continue to try, and the teacher can see that online. Then you might come in one day and get an Otter Dollar, and they're going to recognize you for your organization, your teamwork, your trustworthiness, engagement, or responsibility. They will look and you will hear those words. Thank you very much for your engagement. We want to recognize you following the grid. After you collect your bucks, every Wednesday we will then have the Otter store. And this is just a little price list you can't see, but for example, with one Otter buck, you can get a Jeffco virtual wristband. For $2, there's fun sunglasses. $4, we have fuzzy socks. So what you want to do with your coupons is save them until the end of the day, or you may want to save them for the next week, and because you want the $8 Jeffco virtual t-shirt. You can save them, or you can purchase items at the end of the day on Wednesday. What's really exciting is maybe every 6 weeks or so, I'm going to keep the bucks, and then I'm going to do a larger drawing for a larger prize. Maybe it's a $20 iTunes gift card. I don't know what it will be, but it's really worth having your name on here. So you always want to make sure you get your name when you get an Otter buck. And then again, you can save them or purchase items, and then we will do a larger drawing every once in a while just to make sure you know we're paying attention to your Otter bucks. It is a little different for those of you this year that were here last year, and then for those of you that are new, we have a policy that we're going to use called redirect. So sometimes we do get a little bored or off task talking to our neighbor, and the teacher is going to ask you to redirect. And if you are unable to redirect, we have a redirect spot in the classroom, every middle school classroom, and you're going to fill out a form which helps you think about what didn't you follow on the Otter grid? Why are you needing to redirect yourself? And like Mr. Holman said, we want you to own that. So it's okay if you got put in a redirect spot because you're not working. What we need on that paper that you'll fill out is, I wasn't working, and here's what I'm going to do differently. And I will receive those papers at the end of the day for anybody who had redirect. And we will continue to help you meet your goals following the Otter grid. Also, make sure you know the code of conduct does apply to all students. Make sure you have read it online. You should have checked a box with your parent when they registered. But if you have not read it, I really recommend you do, because we still, even though it's a virtual school, we follow the code of conduct. And I know with middle school kids, sometimes it's a little hard to control ourselves on social networking and what we say and what we do. You have an ethical responsibility to make good choices. We do not slander anybody online. We do not tell our teacher that we're angry. Those are better words to use to call when you see the teacher and say, I'm frustrated. So be real careful with the language and choices you make online, not only for school, but every day of your life. It's really important that you understand internet safety. Lastly, the teachers today are going to take time out of the day to help you talk about grit and goal setting, and they will explain what that means. But we want each of you to have at least one goal that you will set, and we're going to allow you to write it down on paper anonymously, and then I'd like to post them around the building, and so you can have ownership of your own goal. So please think about it when the teachers do the lesson with you this afternoon. Really, what do you think you can accomplish this year? Some of you may have a small goal, just to get here on time. That's fine. Some of you may have a goal, I want to get 2 weeks ahead. That's fine. As long as you have a goal that helps with your success at Jeffco Virtual. I think this year is going to be great. We're going to take time to do some more goal-setting activities every Wednesday. You'll have time to see your elective teachers. They will come in and out on Wednesdays. The most important part is make sure you pack your snacks or lunch, because we don't serve food. at lunchtime. So make sure you're bringing your nutrition with you. Your brain has to have food to work in the morning, so please don't forget to do that every day. I think that's about it.
Great. We're looking forward to meeting you all. I'll see you around today on the 30th, and I'll see you in the future very much.
I'll see you next week. And oh yes, September 6th is MAP testing.
Awesome.
So I'll see you then.
Great. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.